It's time to harvest this plant. This is the Icarus Wingz by Prism Labz that I showed you in my last video. Beautiful structure, dense buds, frosty, a little bit of a color change on the tops of the colas there, not much fading on the rest of the plant. The smell is a combination of fruity, citrusy, and a bit skunky. Before I harvest the plant, I need to clean out my dry box. I've been using the Cannabis Cool Cure to dry my harvest for the past year and a half now, and it's definitely due for a cleaning. I'm taking out the sponge, removing all of the shelves, and I'm using this can of compressed air to help clean out the drain tube. There's a hole in the back on the drain trough that I'm simply sticking the straw into, pulling the trigger, and ensuring air is blowing out the other end of the tube, which is an indication that it's not clogged. I'm then using a damp cloth to wipe down the inside of the unit, and also wipe down the shelves. Then I put the shelves back in and the sponge. Okay, let's chop this girl down. I'm using the AC Infinity 8-inch shears to cut each branch individually, and then using hand trimmers to cut the big fan leaves off of the branches. AC Infinity is a sponsor of mine, so shout out to them. They hook up my viewers with a discount code MrGrowIt15, which works for any of their gardening products on their website or on Amazon. The smell is so strong at this point that not only the entire room smells, but my fiance even stopped by for a minute to inform me that the entire house smells. Living with me does have its perks. I've tried several different drying conditions over the years, and by conditions I'm talking about the temperature and the RH, relative humidity. I used to do 70 degrees Fahrenheit at a 50% RH. Sometimes the temperature creep up to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. What I found with that is the time to dry seems to be a bit too fast for my liking. A fast dry could lead to an over dry. I've definitely done that years ago. And the quality of bud really reduces, in my opinion, when drying so quickly like that. I then bumped it up to 55% RH, which slowed down the dry a little bit, 60% RH, which slows down the dry a bit more, and it's pretty much where I like it at this point. I've also dropped the temperature down, which helps slow down the dry. I've tried it at 65 degrees Fahrenheit, then went down to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is where I currently like to dry it at. The 60-60 method is super common. That's 60 degrees Fahrenheit at a 60% relative humidity. I get some really good results when using those conditions, and many growers swear that those are the best dry conditions. Now the 60-60 method has become a bit controversial. I actually released a quick video talking about a study that compared the 60-60 drying with 68 degrees Fahrenheit and a 61% relative humidity. Some people go by dew point instead of RH, and that would be a 54 degree Fahrenheit dew point. Anyways, I'll link that video down in the description section below for any of you that want the details on that one. This time around, I'm going to set my dry box to 65 degrees Fahrenheit and a 61% RH, which is a 52% dew point for those that use that measurement instead. The branches that I harvested ended up being a bit too long, so I placed the branch into the Cool Cure and then cut the branch so it's the length of the shelf. Once I had all the branches in there, this is a small plant so the entire plant actually fit, I turned the unit on and let the Cool Cure do its job. It took about 6 or 7 days to dry, so not too fast and not too slow. After trimming, I kept the buds in the unit for curing as well, under the same exact conditions. Now as for when the buds are ready to consume, that's subjective. Some people wait 1 to 2 weeks and then consume. Some people wait a month and then consume. We know that there is off-gassing happening for at least the first few weeks of cure, so the chemotype or chemical profile will change, and it's often said that the final product gets better over time. Here's the final product about 2 months after harvesting. I've consumed a lot of this since then, but wanted to at least show you what it looks like. It maintained its density, its frostiness, and it's very sticky. It has a berry-like flavor with a hint of citrus and fuel, and skunky on the back end of it. It's a very uplifting effect for me. Euphoric, I'm able to stay focused, so I don't get too zonked out, and I feel motivated. So it's not the typical couch lock effect that many varieties offer. I'm interested to hear how you go about harvesting, drying, and curing. Oftentimes it's not this way is right and this way is wrong. It's here's one way to do it, and then there are alternate ways to do it. Whatever way you decide to do it, have fun with it. If this is your first grow and you are about to harvest a plant, the best way I can explain is a feeling of excitement, but a bit sad since you're cutting the plant down. But in the grand scheme of things, it's very rewarding. You did it. All of your hard work growing the plant has paid off, and you've now made it to the end, so pat yourself on the back. We have a brand new grow series coming up next, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. On the outro card here, The video on the left is that video on the 60/60 method that I talked about earlier, and the video on the right is automatically generated by the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.